Hello, friends. It's your girl Sarah here once again, and you are welcome to the Words of Wisdom Forum. If today is your first time, well, you are welcome to Words of Wisdom, the Wow Facebook Forum. So, today we're talking about married but in love with somebody else. Who is a hot topic, I know. Like, seriously, you're married but here you are, Mrs. Mr. So much in love with somebody else. It can be a very difficult situation to find yourself in. And as I said in my post on my page, that it can happen to everybody, okay? There's nobody immune against this thing. So if you don't take care, it can happen to you, and then you ask yourself, how did I get here? Well, that's the same question I want to put to you. How did you get there? So you're married, yes, but there's this lady or guy you always fantasize about. You're always thinking about the person. You feel like this is the right person. You wish, sometimes you think, I should have married this person. If only I had met him or her earlier on, I would have married her. Like some people say, you meet the wrong people at the right time and the right people at the wrong time. Well, that are all people's philosophy. But yeah, it can happen to you, and then sometimes you wish this was my husband or this was my wife. And sometimes some people also feel that this would have been a better husband to me than the previous husband my current husband, or this would have been a better wife than my current wife. Well, so how do we deal with that? My first question to you is, how did you get there? How did you find yourself in this situation? I would say that love is not a vacuum, neither is love a web. It just doesn't catch you. It doesn't you're not caught into the lab web. You literally enter it into it yourself. It started from somewhere, and that is where we want to tackle today. How do people find themselves in this situation? Then after we've dealt with that, we will look at how to prevent it or what you can do if you are in the situation. So how did it all start? It can be that this person you feel you are in love with now, other than your spouse, maybe that person was your ex, okay? Maybe you two loved yourself so much, but for some reason you didn't end up marrying. And then now you're like, yes, I knew it. I should have married him, I should have married her. And this is it. And then for some reason you kept the relationship going, and now the two of you are like hooked up, and you're like, okay, what are we doing? You know, or this person can be a new person you met, maybe a colleague at work, maybe you met a person on Facebook. It can be anybody. Well, so the other thing is that most people find themselves in this situation when they're having difficulties or some challenges in their marriages. So let's say there's been some form of misunderstanding, miscommunication going on, or maybe you are in a distance relationship, and that's where the problem usually happens, because like your husband is not there, your wife is not there, and then you get this nice man, nice woman, always giving you the attention, calling you, doing everything that your wife or your other spouse should have been doing, but they are not around. So then you get attached to this new person. Um, it can be office romance, as I talked about. So, yeah, usually when there are problems in marriages, you might find yourself, if you don't take care, in this situation. Usually it starts small. It might start with just checking up on each other, and then it develops. I always say love develops. So you might start something that you didn't even think of, or you didn't prepare yourself that it might end up, you know, in something else, or it might end up you falling in love with that person. So it starts very small, just a chat. And then from the hi, it goes to hi, hello, how are you? And the next time you're spending hours on phone. And then now you're wondering, should I leave my spouse for this person, or should I, keep the relationship running, behind the scene kind of? It's a secret affair. So we want to be careful with the circumstances. I always say that when you entertain their thoughts, one major thing that causes this, when you keep thinking that your spouse is not good enough, I cannot tell what is going on in the marriage, but immediately you start thinking that, mm, I made a mistake. That is where it's that I made a mistake in marrying this person. I shouldn't have married this person. This person is not good enough for me. Once you start getting these thoughts, it will be very easy for you to fall in love with somebody else. So, yeah, you want to be careful with those thoughts. And then the other thing is that immediately a third person comes into the picture, the problem in your marriage becomes unsolvable. Sorry, unresolvable, because like there is no motivation to solve the problem you're facing currently in your marriage, because like you are getting it somewhere else. You might not have started maybe sleeping with this person, but that person is providing you with that emotional satisfaction. When you're sad, you call the person, they make you happy. When you're confused, you have a talking mate. So there's no motivation to work on your marriage. I had a conversation with a friend, and I'm like, "Yo, Charlie, how is your wife?" And then he said they are getting divorced. I'm like, "You just got married, you're not even a year old. Why are you getting married? Why are you getting divorced?" So he told me what was going on in his marriage, misunderstanding here and there. And then as I kept probing, I mean, those of you who know me are very inquisitive. I like asking questions. And I think that's the job of a counselor, right? So I kept asking, and I realized, then I asked a question: "Are you sure you don't have any girlfriend? Tell me the truth." So once I asked, he said, "Yeah, I have this lady, when my wife upsets me, I go to her place, and she's better than my wife. I don't know why I didn't marry her." So immediately he started talking like that. I said, "You know what? She is the reason why you are having all these problems in your marriage." Immediately he was like, "No, my wife is not good enough, blah, blah, blah." I said, "No, it's because your focus has been shifted to this new girl. That is why you are seeing a demon out of your wife. Yeah, I'm not saying your wife is perfect, but now you have somebody else that you're measuring with. It's like you're comparing. And because you're not seeing your wife in this new lady, or this new lady in your wife, you think she's not good enough." So I was like, "You know what? If you really want this marriage to work, you need to break that relationship with the other lady." And I thank God that I don't know whether he broke the relationship or not, but they didn't get a divorce. And now they are really happy in their marriage. Like things are really working out well. So you want to get rid of the third person so that you can concentrate on your marriage. What is happening in my home? How can I solve it? Let's not use the third person as, the escape route. That is not going to help us. Okay. All right. Now let's look at this. So I gave some symptoms that would make you know that your attention is going somewhere else. First, if you're married and you're in love with somebody else, anything your spouse does, anything they do gets you angry. You get annoyed with the slightest thing they do. The other thing, you start complaining about everything, and then you find ways and means to get out of your home because you want to be in the arms of the other person. So how do we prevent it? I would say that the first thing to do is that close that door. If you are not a womanizer, because people do it for fun. Some people, it's not about because they're in love or anything. They just love to have multiple partners. So for their matter, we'll talk about it later. But then if you are not a womanizer and you really want to have peace in your home, you want to close that door, shut it. If there's somebody in the picture, maybe as you're talking to me, you have this chick somewhere, you have this what do you call it, a comforter somewhere, and you really think, or that this is not good, you want to close that door. Just shut it and just seize it. Just close it. Close that chapter and focus on your marriage, your children. This thing, I'll just chip in this before I continue. While you are having the secret affair, or fantasizing with this new person, you need to ask yourself the consequence. We have the long term consequences, and then we have the short term consequences. So you have to ask yourself, how long am I going to do this? And what are the consequences I'm going to face by fact of doing this? Um, are you really ready for a divorce? And do you know what divorce, what getting a divorce will come with? Have you thought of your finances? Like, it's not just about the pleasure, okay? And I want to say this, that I think the world has defined love differently. And we think that love is all about feeling good. We think love is all about doing something that makes me happy. It's not true. Any kind of love that is outside the domain of God is not love. I was reading, when I was preparing for this, I went online, I was doing a lot of researches, and I saw some people's posts. They were like, yeah, what is the essence of being in a marriage when you don't love the person? Life is once, we live life once, so if you're not happy, you just leave and go and be with somebody else you're happy with. And I'm like, these are worldly definitions, okay? To the world, once you are in love, or love means feeling good, being happy. But that is not the definition of love. Love is Christ. So if you really think I'm in love with this person and you're messing up and you think it's love, I'm sorry to say that you are not really in love with that person. It might be lust, it might be infatuation, or even if it is real love, don't forget your commitment. If the marriage is not working out, if things are not going the way you want it to go, you want to find some solutions, right? You want to see how you can work on it. And if it's getting out of hand, seek counseling. Maybe divorce will be a better option for you. I'm not supporting divorce, but maybe that is going to be a better option for you. Seek counseling, know how to go about it. It's better. I'm not supporting divorce, but I'll say it's better to come out of the marriage and find somebody else than be in the marriage and then be sneaking around. It's worse when you do that. So the first one, you close the door. Second one, please, let's be careful with our friends. I have realized that most people who cheat on their spouses or who find themselves in these extramarital relationship are influenced by friends. If you're listening to me or watching me and you have a friend that has a girlfriend aside the wife, please, in as much as possible, as much as you can, try and pull away from that person, because they are going to pollute you. Sooner or later, you would see it's normal. It will become normal to you that you have a wife, but you have somebody else, somebody who gives you peace. So please be careful with your friends. When I posted this on my page, a lot of people were like, oh, this is what I don't want to fall myself into. Lord, help us and all that. Yeah, but He has also given us wisdom. Don't hang around friends. The Bible says that bad friends corrupt behavior. So if your friends are corrupted, if they see nothing wrong cheating, and you still call them your friends, then you are heading towards that same direction. So be careful with friends. Um, the other one I would say, spouses should be open. You know, we are human beings. The fact that you're married doesn't mean that you can never, your heart is stopped from, going into somebody else. Marriage doesn't stop your heart, or it doesn't stop your eyes from seeing people. It doesn't prevent you from liking other people. So don't think, oh, once you are married, yeah, you might never like anybody else that you want to even have a closeness to. It's not true. That is why spouses must be open to each other. We have to share our weaknesses. If you are struggling at workplace, we should be open, okay, to tell our spouses, and the other spouse should be open to listen. I find it worrisome when some men tell me that with their wives they can't talk about any other those things because the wife is going to get angry. It's like even when they're walking and they see a beautiful girl, the man has to pretend that he has not seen the girl. Because if he's like, oh, that's a nice girl, the wife is going to have a problem. If you do this, your spouse is going to hide a lot of things from you. But you have to be open. Ask the person, hey, how is work? Who is that new girl? Do you like her? What is happening? Talk to me. If the person is struggling, the person can tell you that, hey, I really like this person and she also likes me. So, yeah, I have to, then the two of you work. Then maybe you have to change your office. Maybe you have to change position. Work together. Don't let things take you by surprise in your own home. Be open. Be open to each other and share your secrets, share your struggles. We are all human beings. And once you have a partner that is open to listen to you, it will help you a lot. The second one, I would say, don't start it. Don't even start it. You remember when I started, I was asking, how did you get there? It all started from somewhere. Once you are married, you are married. Let's not take the worldly perspective that, oh yeah, I'm married, but yeah, I can figure out things myself. No, once you're married, you are married. So don't even start any other conversation that might lead to somewhere else. Be careful with your conversation with people. If the person is getting too close, you need to set boundaries for yourself. I'm going to give an example of something that happened to me. I had this colleague of mine, I knew him way back in the university. And then, we lost contact. So after a while, I decided to get in touch with this person. And we started, catching up, chatting, and all that. And then before I know, anytime I post a picture, this guy will say, wow, you're so beautiful. Is this all for your husband? Hey, your husband is chilling. And I'm like, I'm not sure I want to have this conversation with you. But I just stopped over it. And then this guy kept, you know, going on and on. And the next time I heard is like, come to Papa. I said, I should I should come to Papa. And then he would send some emojis. So I was like, hey, hold on, hold on, hold on. What are you trying to do? It looks like I don't understand the conversation you're having with me. What are you trying to say? Why have you sent me this emoji? Like a bra and a top, a bikini and a bed. I'm like, what are you trying to communicate? Immediately I said that, he deleted the emojis and like, oh, sorry, I was sending to somebody else. And I said, you know what? I'm married. I'm married, and I will not entertain these things. He got so ashamed. I mean, and this is how you're supposed to build some self integrity around yourself. You can't be married and be having some silly conversation with other people. That is how it starts. And some people can come into your life like just friends. Oh, how is your family? How is your wife? How is this? Before you know, any problem they have now, they are telling you. I had a friend who had a similar situation. She didn't know that the husband was getting close to this other lady. And this even lady happens to be a mutual friend. That is why I talked about spouses being open. This lady happened to be a mutual friend. And she started, complaining to the husband. Any problem she has, she will complain to the husband and blah, 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 blah. And before the husband knew, he was developing this intimacy and closeness with the girl. It got to a point where he had to run. It was just left for something to happen. And then before he went to tell the wife that, this lady, your friend, our friend has been getting close to me. She's always discussing problem and blah, blah, blah. And the wife was so disappointed. So don't start it. If you think the conversation is going somewhere you don't want, don't start it. Otherwise, before you know, you're always thinking about this person. You are not a tree. Man no be firewood. And if she's also a woman, a beautiful woman, a handsome man, you might fall. So don't even start it. Don't encourage it. Don't entertain it. Don't entertain the thought. If you're struggling, you're married, seek counseling. But don't seek solace from somebody else. And I want to end with this. Most people also like to take advantage of people. Once they know that you're struggling in your home, now they want to sneak in. They like taking advantage of people's circumstances. And I want to also say this, marriage has a nice way of making people attractive. You might be walking about single, nobody will mind you. Get married today, all of a sudden people are chasing you everywhere. Marriage comes with its own glory, and I don't know what it does, but it makes you attractive. And some people intentionally want married people. They want married women, they want married men. So don't open yourself up. The Bible says that we shouldn't give the devil a foothold in our lives. So don't give them a chance. Once they see you at work neatly dressed with your tie and stuff like that, they start admiring you. They start eyeing you, buying you this, always telling you you're looking so handsome and all that. They are looking for a way to sneak into your life. You're a young woman, you're so beautiful. Maybe your husband doesn't even tell you that, doesn't tell you how beautiful you look. And anytime you go to work, this particular nice guy will be telling you, oh, you're so beautiful. I like your wig. I like your smile. And then you feel like, oh, he's the best. not my husband. Let's be careful. If we are married, we are married. Let's invest prayer into our marriage. Let's protect our spouses. Let us seek God in our home. No matter how worse things has been, God is able to change things around. Soak your spouses into the blood of Jesus. And one thing I want to say, young ladies, please be careful. Be careful dating married men. I know it has become a thing today. Everybody is doing it. But if you're a young lady and you are hoping to get married yourself, please desist from dating married men. It might not happen in your time, but you are creating a generational problem for your children. You might die and go, but after some time, your children will be struggling with marriage. Your children will be struggling with having stability just because you sowed a bad seed. And now this has become so worse that even couples, some spouses are encouraging it, especially those living outside. So maybe the woman is living outside, the husband is in Ghana or other country, and then you see the wife saying that, oh, you can go for a girlfriend, just let me know. It has become normal. So please be careful. Don't allow yourself into these things. Let's stay faithful to God. His word is true. And if He desires sexual purity, He desires it. Protect your home from all this evil from happening. So I'm going to end here, and I will say that it is normal to start developing feelings for somebody else, but don't encourage it. And you can stop yourself from making the situation worse. So if you listen to me, you're married but in love with somebody else, you can definitely stop it. You can definitely quit it. It is normal. Stop criticizing yourself. But then you can stop yourself from moving on in that direction. Thank you for making time to join. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. And I'm also available for programs and activities. Just get in touch with me and we'll see how we organize it. Thank you. And this has been your girl on Wow Facebook Forum. Bye.